Okay. So one of the important thing as we work is object-oriented programming. Now, this is very important because across all product programming languages, Java, C, C++, everywhere, this object-oriented programming has become an industry standard. So also called as OOPS programming. So OOPS uses objects and classes to bind data and the functions that work together as single unit. So it uses two things, objects and class. So, and the object and class are two different components of object-oriented programming, which will help you to bind data and functions. We use a lot of functions in programs that all will be combined to work as a single unit. So if you are looking at what is this object? Object, is an entity that has a state and behavior associated with it. Int, float, arrays, dictionaries, etc. are all objects. So if you are looking at your basic data types, int, float, date, string, and also if you look at the data structures, arrays, dictionaries, they all come under object. A state and a behavior is there. Now, if you are looking at what is a state, state is represented by the attributes. State is represented by the attributes of the object, also reflects the property of an object. Similarly, behavior. Represented by methods of an object. Also reflects the response of an object to others. And identity is an unique name given to an object and enables interactions between objects. So one of the important component of object-oriented programming is object. The second component is the class. Object and classes are there, right? Class. Class is a collection of objects. Class is a collection of objects and contains prototype or blueprint from which objects are created. It's a logical entity that contains attributes. Attributes are features and methods. Methods are functions. Classes are created using keyword class. Attributes are variables that belong to a class. Attributes are always public. And can be accessed using the dot operator. So if you are looking at the say class name, column, statement 1, statement 2, statement n. Okay. So this is an object. Identity, state, and behaviors is an object. Name of the dog, attributes are breed, age, color, and behaviors are bark, sleep, and eat. And this is the class dog, dog 1, attributes, dog 2, behaviors, dog 3, dog 4. So you are combining the attributes and behaviors, and you are assigning various dogs to that behaviors and attributes. This is the class. These are the object. Example of a class and a object. Okay. Now, one other thing is the important thing we need to understand is the init method, which is a constructor So you use this init method in C++ also, C and C++ also. It's a constructor. Constructor initializes object state. The constructor initializes the object state. Constructor and is a collection of statements that are executed at the time of object creation. It runs as soon as object is initiated. So the init method is also very important part of this OOPS concept along with the object and class. So the usage is like this. I'm creating a class called person. If you give a person name, it will say hi. def underscore 2 times init underscore self comma name. Another keyword is self. You have to use the keyword self here. Self dot name is equal to name. def say underscore hi self colon print hello, my name is comma self dot name. So this is a class person which have been created, which will say hello, my name is. So how do we initiate this? We initiate using the class name person. In it you get say John dot say underscore hi. You'll get the output as my name is John. So init method is a constructor which has to be used along with class and object. And the self is a keyword which is again used for creating the attributes and the object. Indentation is very important. Go to colon and press enter. DF is in green or in red color. Init is 2 underscores. Okay, got it, all of you? Now, another example of how to create class and object, we will create a class called addition, where we sum up 2 numbers and also display the answer. Okay, so we will create a class called addition, which will sum 2 numbers. And then we'll get the output of the addition also. Class addition colon first is equal to 0, second is equal to 0, and answer is equal to 0. These are the local variables which are being created. You're creating cell first, second answer as zeros in the local variable, local environment, because we are building them inside a class function. Where? No columns. The above one, everybody got it? Person, class person. Now, the first thing is you have to do the init. Init, open bracket, self, comma, f, comma, s, colon, self dot first is equal to f, self dot second is equal to s. Then we'll write another function, df display self. Print first number equals to plus str self dot first, print second number is equal to plus str self dot second, print answer is equal to plus self string self dot answer, and def calculate self dot answer is equal to self dot first plus self dot second. See, self is a keyword which is used within the self one. Along with the init constructor, we have to use it. So class has a first parameter in the definition that is called self. Yes. Yeah. So along with the init method, you have to use the self also as a keyword in the constructor. Yes, self. Yes. So now, if you want to use this, object is equal to addition 20 comma 30 obj dot calculate object dot display. You can see the output here. Hmm. Answer we need, na? First number, second number, and display the answer. Got this, all of you? What are you getting? Addition spelling. Just check the spelling what you are given. Class addition and what you are giving here. Hmm? You can do directly search dot first. Corrected? Okay. The next is the inheritance. Inheritance. Hmm?
We can use the one class.
Yes. Capability of one class to derive or inherit properties from another class. So inheritance is the ability of class to derive or inherit properties from another class. Class that derives properties is called derived class or child class. Class from which properties are being derived is called base class or parent class. The biggest advantage is reusability of code. The core thing is reusability of code. Now, different types of inheritances are there. Single inheritance, yes, derives yeah, derived class to inherit characteristics from single parent class. Multi-level inheritance. Derived class to inherit properties from an immediate parent class, which in turn inherits from its parent class, level wise. Then hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance more than one derived class to inherit properties from a parent class. And multiple inheritance. Derived class to inherit properties from multiple parent class. So inheritance is another thing which is very important in object-oriented programming. Reusable code. The agenda is to create reusable code which can be applied to multiple utilities. That is what in real-time data science also people don't understand and they just create. So what happens in reality is, since you are not programmers, you might not create we will generally use step-by-step functions. Whereas once you join, a programmer will convert all your functions into a class method or a function, and then which will be used multiple times on different aspects. So that is also there. So basically, in most of the companies, separate programmers will be there who will convert your base code into object-oriented programming code. And they'll sit with you to inherit the classes because you know the flow of inheritance. So you have to help him out which function to be executed first, which function to be executed second, and how the flow is connected to one another. So that is very important. Now, create a parent class called polygon. You know, right? Polygon. Multiple sites will be there in polygon. Now, using this parent class, create child class for triangle and square area calculation. Basically, we are looking at calculation of the area. So a parent class has to be created called polygon, Then using the polygon, we have to create a child class called triangle, another class called square, which will give us the area calculation of the area. Polygon is multi. 5 is pentagon. Okay, so let us start. So first we will create the parent class. Polygon. Polygon will have n sides. Class polygon colon, and first is diff init method self comma num underscore sides colon self dot n is equal to num underscore sides. Self dot sides is equal to square bracket 0 for I in range of num underscore sides. So here we are defining the variable number of sides. First, we are defining the variable number of sides, which is a constructor, which will be used for future calculations. And this constructor creates a very important attribute called number of sides. Without the number of sides, you cannot calculate the area. So the constructor here we are using is number of sides. Then the next function, input sides self dot sides is equal to square bracket float input enter side plus string of I plus 1 plus close, sorry. And column. And for I in range of self dot n. So we are creating an input function here to enter the data of sites. Here we are putting an input function so that we can give the side values. DEF display sites self colon for I in range self comma n, self dot n colon print side comma I plus 1 comma self dot sides square bracket I. So the parent class here helps us to define as many sites as we want. So the concept of here is this we are trying to build a constructor or a class. Sorry, we are building a class that can be used to define as many sites as we want. Because in area calculation, the sites will decide the type of calculation we have to do, the number of sides. So we can, so the whole purpose of this class polygon is to define the sides. Now we build a child class called triangle. Class triangle. And here, instead of self, we have to inherit the polygon. Till now, after the class, we were giving self as the keyword. Now in child class, we have to give the class name from which it has to inherit. So class triangle polygon def underscore init underscore self colon polygon dot underscore init underscore self comma, how many sides we want? 3. Triangle will have 3 sides. Now we will find the area. Triangle area self colon A comma B comma C is equal to self dot sides. S is equal to A plus B plus C divided by 2. Area is equal to S into S minus A into S minus B into S minus C to the power of 0.5. Root of print area of triangle is percent area. So using the parent class, we have just given the formula. We have not defined the sides here. Though the whole definition of sides we are taking from polygon, parent class. Here we are just coding the formula. T is equal to triangle T dot input sides we got an error. Not all algorithms characteristic to string format. अच्छा The area of triangle is, I think we have to give the string format.
Sir, area తర్వాత
It will be direct comma. Could not convert string to float. Okay. Percent 0.2 F. Okay. Change formatting change also has to be added. Percent point two F percent area. Here, na, we are calling it here. Try calculating for square also. Square, you have to give only one side. All sides are equal, right? For the square. And square, area of square is S square.
Next, no, Lena, they're not letting any video. Yeah, yeah, great. This way that I work. And then, put my classes, because this is important for the data manipulation. And what you know, with again, you know, all of the people of data analysis. And they were equal. This water. Starting you told me, I don't know. So you people are very strong because you know the difficult job. ఇప్పుడు కూడా నేను చేసినట్టు మరి ఏంటి ఏంటి ఇప్పుడు కూడా నాకు తెలుస్తుంది.
Like you told, no, this is done by the programmers. This is done by the programmers. But what they expect you is after programming, it comes to you to check whether it is right or wrong. There you need to have basic understanding of classes, inheritance and all to check the code. Because you will test the code. So you will be the person, once the programmer writes a complete your program, whatever you are written into set of codes, and then you will send it for testing. You have to input the data into the module and see whether it is predicting correct or not. Test data or some data you have to do, and then you have to check. Now, if there is some problems, you have to go to the code and see where the problem is happening. Particularly what we see is inheritances are a big problem. They don't understand the sequence. The flow chart, they miss out. Take for example, NLP. Reprocessing has to be done. Special characters, everything has to be removed. On the clean text, only you create words. If that guy programmer forgets to put one line of code for removing emojis or punctuations or some special characters, you run the code again, you run the function, you will see all the special characters coming in your corpus, which is wrong. So you need to understand the flow. You have to tell them, see, after this has to be executed. After this, it has to be executed. And then finally, this is our output. We are expecting it in this format. Accordingly, they will write the code and give it to you. Okay. So once the whole thing is ready, they will send you for testing. Now you have to test and you should make sure that it is giving the right outputs by inputting the relevant data. Test data or something you input and you'll find the things. If most of the times what we found it is mistakes will happen. Now you have to go back to the programmer, sit with him, identify where he missed out the whole thing, and then you have to help him correct. For that purpose, you need to have basics of understanding. So what is happening is, in Wipro and Capgemini, our students were put on Python programming also. They were given 3 days training on Python programming where they were taught all these things. OOPS concept, inheritances, classes, modules, all these things, functions, everything they put on that on. Because they said you are expected to correct it. Because if you don't know, programmer done, not a mistake keeps on happening, who will correct it? So you need to have basic understanding. You will not write this whole thing. Programmer will write it for you. You have to test it. Once you say okay, it goes to deployment and production. Now, during this process of testing, you will see a lot of mistakes will be creeping up where the programmer might have missed some crucial step altogether. So you have to go through the code, find out where he missed out, and then you have to tell him, see, you missed this whole code, you rework the whole code and all. So you should be able to analyze the code and find the mistake and point the mistake to him. And he has to correct the mistake accordingly. So for class square, I copy the initial class square, polygon self. Here we give only one. DF air square area is self colon A is equal to self dot size. Square area is equal to A star star 2. Print, I'll copy from the top, the same format. Okay, see, simple. Once you have the parent class defined for the major part of the code, the child class will become very, very easy. Square is equal to square area. Oh, sorry, area square.
Last triangle and meter pressure.
So, sorry. That's what. So SQR dot input size 25. Oh, sorry. Not here. 25. SQR dot square area we have given square area here. Yeah, area square, sorry. Or we have to use this one. Okay, so we have to import NumPy as NP. A is equal to float NP dot float underscore of A. So we have to change the data type to float from list.
Maybe we can share our information.
Mhm.
We will try and maybe it will be more.
This one, right?
And
Okay. So here we are different three values here. Here, what is happening is one value only, we are taking it 4 times. Here, the same value will be taken as 4 times, right? So that is why,
if float we take there also nothing will happen.
there also can give the same arguments. No problem there also. Here we're giving individually 3 arguments, and then we are using it to calculate. Here we give only one argument, which is converted into 4 sides. So encapsulation. The other one is encapsulation, which is another part of the OOPS programming. So it is a combination of wrapping data and methods that work on data as a single unit. It puts restrictions on accessing variables and methods and prevents accidental modification of data. Private variables are used private variables are variables in objects that can be changed by an object method only. So in encapsulation, private variables are used wherein you cannot alter them, which restricts the data change. All right. We'll take a break now, or we'll take it 11:30. Right now? All right, we'll take a break and then afterwards we'll continue this. So if you miss this underscores or anything, that it will not take arguments. If you miss self also, the self keyword also has to be there in the beginning. See, everything is under one single unit. We have different methods and functions, right? Withdrawal, deposits, check balance, these are different methods. And we also have data entry. Right? We are entering data also, right? Customer details. So it's a combination of methods as well as classes. Both are there in one single unit. So if you don't give any part of this data, the function will not work. And second thing, you cannot alter the variables. Suppose you have given account number 1 to some particular person, you cannot reassign account number 1 to some other person. It can be done only through object method. So that is all is there. So this whole methods and classes, right? So what is encapsulation? Both data and methods, right? So methods are these: deposit, withdrawal, check balance, print customers. And for entering data also, we have created a function, right? Bank account is a parent class which will create data, which will be used by these methods. So the parent class is defined to give data collection. So we give data here, right? So we are giving here data as bank account, the parameters, account number, date, balance, and name. And on this data, we are running the method called print customer details, method deposit, method balance, method withdrawal. So here we are creating data as well. Data also is being added. And also methods are also run. Yes, so you can use this data class bank account. Okay, and then you can create a function like loan eligibility, or something like you can create a function like eligibility for credit card if he has maintained average balance of so and so amount. So like that, we can create a sub child class using this parent class bank account. Okay, based on account, we can create functions like bank statement also can create a formatted statement, which is more of a string formatting and all those things. All right, all of you are done with this. The last one is the polymorphism. Polymorphism having many forms. Same function names, but different signatures for different types. The key difference is data types and number of arguments used in the function. Now take, for example, there are most of the functions which are inbuilt have polymorphism capabilities. Take, for example, print length of balance print length of so the length function is applied on two different data types. One is on string, the other is on list of numbers. Which one? Yes, same things are here. Inheritance is overriding. Class methods is overloading. Inheritance is overriding, riding.
Like the parent that we can change that to the child. You want that we are still the same, you can change it. You have already.
Data abstract is an unnecessary code. Another example would be if addition x comma y comma z comma is equal to 0, return x plus y plus z. Print addition of 2 comma 3, print addition 2 comma 3 comma 4. Okay, the last one is data abstraction. Users only interact with the function. Yes. But inner working of function is hidden.
Example, we can take 18, sir.
Hmm?
18. Just we see the only, if for example, if you want balance, if you show only the balance, but then we can get.
Oh, we don't see it, yes. In the bank account also, it is just showing the details of the customer. On the back end, what it is not showing, going to show. So the back class which I have created. So in data abstraction, we don't see what is happening behind, only the interaction with the function will happen. So these are the object-oriented programming or OOPS concepts, which are very important. All right. So basic things we need to understand, because when you're testing the code, if errors come, you should be able to find out the error also. You will not correct the error, but you should tell the programmer where exactly the error is occurring. For that purpose, a basic understanding of the programming structure is required. Because most of the times we see lack of understanding of the programmers will make mistake, they skip steps. Right, so we have to make sure that all the steps are followed, then only your model works efficiently. Or they might use wrong scalars. When you specify scalars, they think all scalars are same. That's what I have seen. But each scalar has its own importance. So you have to be very careful with that part. Second thing is how we display the data is also very important. The output has to be displayed in terms of the necessary parts, R square, RMSE, like that, whatever we need, they have to implement it accordingly. You can see Python MySQL, you can connect it, but the problem is MySQL and Python should be in the same drive. When you're installing MySQL, if you change the location and all, it won't crawl. Otherwise, PyMySQL connector is there, library is there. There's a library. You can pip install PyMySQL. So you have to give the user password here. Once you have installed, to connect the MySQL, we have created user ID, localhost or something is there. So MySQL 80 is the user ID, password, database is DB, MySQL character, and then once you connect it, you can start adding the data to that one. So it's a straightforward connection by MySQL. You install the library and you can directly connect it to it. Same, you can use same. No, they're different. Exception handling is nothing but debugging and all those things, error debugging. So that generally we use Stack Overflow only. In programming, you can also use Stack Overflow only. Yeah, copy the error into Stack Overflow, and then you will find the error and debug the error accordingly. Because if you go with the tracking and that exception handling and all, you'll get confused. For that, you need to know hardcore programming. So best option would be copy the error into your Google and go with the solution right away. ChatGPT is different thing, no? That's a AI mod.
She's asking like, in order to, instead of copying that, she's asking.
No, go with Google only. ChatGPT, MySQL queries, sorry, errors, they're not that great. Stack Overflow, it's better to go with. It is not working. I think PJ 26 guys have tried. They copied the error in the classroom only in ChatGPT. It was giving links which are not working. Whereas in Google, the first thing which you get from Stack Overflow, it gives you the solutions. Yeah.